Hello and welcome to SpaceChem Tournament 2025, Round 3, HackChem. It's a collaboration between SpaceChem and HackMatch, which is a minigame in both Exapunk and Last Call BBS. In HackMatch, you control a little hexa, which then can grab and drop other blocks in order to create clusters of 4 or more of the same color. You can also swap between blocks. In this game, you get rows of blocks and you need to create clusters of 4 blocks of the same color or more. So in this puzzle, what you need to do is create blocks of 4 from each atom. Let's see how everyone went about doing it. In last place, Gigs with 61 symbols. The main challenge of this puzzle is that you need to have 2 places to create your sticks, but the input takes too much of the available space to just do a simple typewriter. What Giggs did was he split his input molecule in half, and that way the entire right side of the board is free, especially the rightmost column, and that way he can build the silicon stick over the output. What it does to differentiate between the silicon and phosphorus, he has a sensor here which only blue uses. All red does is counts to 4 and then counts to 10 and then counts to 5 and then brings another row up, counts to 4 for each row and brings the second half, and counts to 5 4 times as well. So basically counting to 40 before inputting again. Blue is also pretty simple. It counts to 4 for each atom type, and when it reaches 4 it outputs. Pretty simple. A nice way to both have enough room but not special case too much. It's just doing the same operation twice with a 5x4. Let's speed it up a bit. "61 symbols, and it was our fastest solution that was submitted." Makes sense because Geeks called it a speed solve. Next up is Spiritual Shampoo. Spiritual Shampoo with 52 symbols. In Spiritual Shampoo, blue is a sort of stupid Waldo, while red does all of the work. And what they do is lop off a row of silicon phosphorus, then teleport it all the way to the end so that it won't get stuck in the building phosphorus here. and then silicon goes up, and as a stick there's enough room here because lopping off a stick leaves a gap here, while phosphorus, in order to stay over the output, is created as a square sort of. All blue does is build the phosphorus, and when it reaches the count of 4, then it outputs it. Red does the bonding, debonding here, teleport, swapping and building the silicon stick, and counting to 40. This is 2, 4, 8, 16. I'm not sure how this counter works. It counts to 10 here. Not perfect. Yeah, I see it's buffering. I'll try to find a solution for this code to work for the next round. All in all, pretty simple. After each 4 atoms, red debonds here, goes back up to bring it up and left so that there's a gap here. Let's do it from the beginning again. So there's a gap here for the silicon. And then it's just using the swap to debond and to not hit the phosphorus here. Fairly simple. Let's watch it till the end. Next up is Zig with a solution of 48 symbols, and Zig guessed that it's 15 in excess, so Zig guessed that the record was 33. We'll see what the record is shortly. Zig has both Waldos surprisingly having somewhat equal proportion for the workload. He builds the phosphorus stick in the bottom half of the reactor and the silicon stick in the top half. The last atom can't be teleported, can't be swapped, because there's an atom here that prevents the input from going another cell downwards. So blue grabs it and swaps it instead. This method has the advantage of not needing to lop off a chunk of the input, either to 2 halves or a row at a time. but it does need to special case the last atom in each row. How does he know when he's out of atoms? If red doesn't go downwards here for the first sensor and doesn't go downwards again, it means that blue isn't holding an atom at all and red goes up. That way there's no need to count to 40 and it saves a lot of symbols. Though, is it worth it? We'll see. Next up is Astronelson with It came to me in a dream. Astronelson only brings the input one cell downwards each time, so that he can debond the last row and bring over the last column and bring over the entire column one cell downward. It's basically taking the upper leftmost atom and keeping the input molecule in the top left, which leaves him plenty of time for building the outputs over the half bottom. Red just has a lot of sinks. This is 4 sinks and this is a 10 counter flip-flop. All red does is count to 40 and then inputs. Also it counts to 4 and after each counting to 4 it brings the input one cell to the left. Okay. This is a nice trick to do so that you don't have to count how many atoms you have in the stick. What you do is you do a blind grab. Once you reach 4 atoms, then the molecule is under this grab here and you can grab it and bring it to the output. Other solutions also did it, but only now I thought about mentioning it. Very common way to save symbols in symbol solutions. 45 symbols. Next up is rezoons with T. Copy, 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 copy. I don't know how many. Blue is very simple with a single line repeating sinks. This is basically just counting to 40, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it counts to 10. Blue just counts to 10. And inputs. Red, in the meantime, just counts to 4 here. And it does the same thing where the input is only brought one one cell downwards and debonds, and then rebonds again, though no real need to rebond, it just rebonds when it goes over the bond here. This is slightly better because blue is very simple and the moving isn't part of the counting, but overall very similar. Okay. Next up is ToughThought with let's count to 40. ToughThought has a bond minus wall hammer. You might think, how can you wall hammer on a bond minus when you need to bond the atoms together afterwards? But having the bond minus hammer be red means that blue activates afterwards, which means that there is still a bond as long as it doesn't stay over the bonders. Same deal here with the blind grab. Here he has two bonder pairs to debond, and then the teleporters to debond again. That way all of the leftmost row gets separated. All he has to do is grab, yeah, he needs 3 grabs and 1 swap to grab from the same place. And these grab also coincide with the counting to 4, because you need to go here once, and here twice. Still, the way he knows when to input again the last time he has a 40 counter here. This is a 4 counter times 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 counter times 10 times 2. Next up is Andy with unreachable paths. Andy does something called flip-flop priming. Andy wants his starting solution to have this flip-flop. If he could have it like this, then he wouldn't need to go over it in the beginning. But he wants to save symbols, save an arrow, so he needs to go over here this in the beginning before going straight to the input. Unfortunately, what that means is that he has to count all the way to 40 in the beginning. So, cycle 1040. Okay. And he did something very similar to the last solution, except instead of hammering bond minus, he hammers an out, which probably means he saves a cycle at the end. though cycles don't matter much here. We didn't have any tie this round. And these weird flip-flop positions are probably an efficient way to count to 40. Here, instead of debonding, having the teleporters debond everything from the beginning, he uses the debonders to debond the last atom from the rest. Swap to debond here, and then grab again. If he had a single more bonder, he could have saved the symbol, but as it is, he doesn't. Andy also receives bonus fake points for having the two teleporters be one over the other, which is how it works in hack. What's it called? Wait. Hack and match, where you can swap between two blocks. So good job, Andy, for the fake points. Beyond that, Andy managed to save some symbols using his clever way to count to 40 and his flip-flop priming, but it's very similar to solutions we've already seen. Next up is largest common denominator, which are, I forgot I've closed it, which are Lazy Comet and Dariush. With their solution, the most cursed 16 counter you will ever see. A 16 counter largest common denominator also hammers on bond minus, but instead of having the output molecules being built in the lower half, they do it at the top and the bottom, like we saw at the beginning. Instead of bringing the entire molecule to the bottom, though, it's just they just use the teleporters to debond. And the debonder here, they have spare bonders even. Here they have... Why is the output so far? Probably because after you drop here, the only time the Waldo reaches common ground again is here. Common path again after dropping. Wow. Why did it count to 16? Where's the 16 counter? They have a 4 counter. Ah, they just... Wait, let's do it from the beginning and see. After counting to 4, they come here again. And then here again. Why are they doing all these paths again though? This is going to the phosphorus output and then the silicon output, and then they count to 2, 4, but this part, wait, here they have 2, 4 here. Every 4th input they go down. Ah, basically, instead of counting to 10, they count to 16 and waste 6 repetitions instead of wasting arrows to go back to the loop. Okay. That was 37 symbols. Third place. In second place is Team Combustible Lemons, which is brookieoz, YellowBunny, and bigmangohead. With their solution... Ah, no, that's what we... Team Combustible Lemons with their solution 35.999, probably the score they had. This time we see again a solution with yellow having a single line path. This time, not yellow, blue. Blue is hammering on the silicon sensor, just so that every time there's a silicon, blue can bond here, reusing the bond plus that red uses to bond the phosphorus, saving a symbol. Apart from that, there's a 4 counter here somewhere. Ah, this is the 4 counter, and this is the 10 counter. This with these. basically 2 counter, 3 counter, 4 counter. But then these flip-flops make it 4 times another 5, I guess, somehow. Flip-flop counters can be complicated to symbol optimize. But yeah, people did it in a very nice way in only 36 symbols here. Let's speed it up. Wait, let's try to understand again how this works. This is 1, 2. This is the 4 counter here. And then this is 4 times 5 again. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 2 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with 4 flip-flops, which makes it 10. Okay. And in first place we have Team Science, which is Rexkix, gggol and Britboy, with blue line riding high. Okay. Again we have blue line waiting on a silicon sensor. This time, instead of going all the way to the end of the reactor to output, by having it grab and drop here, Brad can just scoot over the output molecule one cell at a time, which makes it so they can have a straight line here and probably save cycles, obviously, but probably also symbols somewhere. How do they count to 40? They count to 2 here. This is the count to 4. 1, 2. Going here. It's blind grab. It's a blind grab. No need to count to 4, just count to 40. Blind grab, but that can only happen every second time. Having all the flip-flops combine in the same cells means that they only need a single arrow here and a single arrow here for all the flip-flops to join together. Overall, the biggest challenge in this puzzle was to create a counter to 40 with as few symbols as possible. Though we did see some nice way to use the sensor to input the next molecule. it turned out it wasn't the best approach. Either way, congratulations Team Science. Very clean solution, one symbol improvement over second place. Let's look at the fun solutions, which none of us seen because this video will be edited. Single Waldo. It would have been 42 symbols by Team Combustible Lemons. This is a very similar, no one else used this exact same setup. ToughThought had a similar setup of something like this. Either way, we've seen that there were some solutions with a Waldo hammer of either output or a bond, which means that having a single Waldo solution for this puzzle probably wasn't that difficult compared to previous puzzles. Nice job though. Still would have been pretty competitive with only 42 symbols. And by pretty competitive I mean it would have been 6th place. Okay. That's it for this week's puzzle. Next week there won't be a solution stream because the tournament will be on a hiatus due to the upcoming coincidence game, Kaizen. Go check it out, everyone. Buy it, play it. By the time this video is out, it's probably out as well. Goodbye.